Gowdy has announced 7 Super Bowls, including the 1971 game, which found the Colts and Cowboys tied 13-13 with 9 seconds left.
They'll be coming up with a field goal. As they line up, the ball will be spotted on the 32-yard line. Rookie Jim O'Brien's kick, it's good, and the Colts win it 16-13. 23-year-old Jim O'Brien's a hero now, and the Baltimore Colts are world champions.
Curt has also announced 14 baseball all-star games. One of the most memorable came in 1970, when the National League threatened to break a 4-4 tie in the bottom of the 12th inning.
Pete Rose on second. Jim Hickman the batter. A drive into center. It's a base hit. Rose coming around third, heading for home. Fosse blocking the play. He crashed into him, knocks the ball loose, and the National League wins 5-4 in 12 innings. Pete Rose playing the game hard in every department. Look at that delivery.
For 12 years in a row, it was Curt's voice that described the action in the NCAA College Basketball Championships. Many of the games were routine UCLA victories, but in 1974, the Bruin dynasty was shaky, and North Carolina State, led by David Thompson, was attacking the foundation.
And UCLA will now have to fight for its life. Dave Myers shooting 1-1. David Thompson springs up, grabs the rebound. North Carolina State in excellent position as they come down. They'll try and control the ball and the clock. Rivers out in front. Spence in the corner. They'll try and get the ball to David Thompson if possible. There he is. He's covered by Keith Wilkes. David Thompson, the star of this tournament, moving around, maneuvering. Up for the jumper. He hits it, and that does it. North Carolina State has dethroned the UCLA Bruins after 7 years of UCLA domination.
Back in 1960, Curt was a local announcer for the Boston Red Sox when Ted Williams made his dramatic final appearance in the batter's box.
1 out, nobody on, last of the 8th inning. Jack Fisher into his windup. Here's the pitch. Williams swings, and there's a long drive to deep right. That ball is gone, and it is gone. A home run for Ted Williams in his last time at bat in the major league. Ted Williams was the biggest star of them all. He was the most dynamic, enthusiastic, interesting man I've ever met in sports, and the greatest professional. I don't think he's the greatest all-around player. During my time, Willie Mays had his prime. I saw Williams late, Joe DiMaggio late. Williams certainly the greatest hitter I ever saw, and he also was a fan of the game.
Well, now, as the World Series, I suppose, that is what one looks forward to more as a baseball broadcaster.
I would say to me, that I get asked that a lot, what's the biggest sporting event in your mind? I think the World Series is like a book. It has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. And if it goes 6 or 7 games, it develops. Each chapter leads to the next chapter. The Super Bowl, bang, and it's out. It's a great event, too. But as a young announcer, I always dreamed about doing the World Series, and I was lucky. I've done 14 of them. And that was my first big thrill of doing a World Series.
And of all the World Series games you've seen, is there one that really sticks out?
I think that the greatest World Series ever played, I know some of the old-timers may argue, was the Red Sox-Cincinnati series of 75. Every game had something outstanding in it. The greatest baseball game I think ever played in America, I'm sure there are dozens more that people could bring up, was the 6th game of that series.
The Cincinnati Reds were only 4 outs away from winning the World Championship, and they had a 6-3 lead when Boston's Bernie Carbo stepped to the plate against Rawley Eastwood.
Carbo hits a high drive, deep center, way back, home run! Bernie Carbo has hit his second pitch hit home run of this series. And the Red Sox have tied it 6-6.
In the bottom of the 9th, with the score still 6-6, Fred Lynn came up for the Red Sox with the winning run on third and no outs.
There's a high fly ball down the left field line. It's going to be close. It is caught by Foster. Here's a tag. Here's a throw. He's out. A double play.
It was still 6-6 in the top of the 11th, with the Reds' Joe Morgan at bat. Ken Griffey was on first with 1 out.
There's a long shot to deep right. Back goes Evan. Back. And
Reds announcer Marty Brenneman called the play-by-play as Carlton Fisk stepped up in the bottom of the 12th. The score was still 6-6.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings, long drive, left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run! The Red Sox win! And the series is tied 3 games apiece.
And when that game was over and Fisk's ball went up on the screen, Pete Rose turned around and said to the umpire, "I'll always be glad I played in this game. It may be the greatest game I've ever been around." And it was, to me, the greatest game I've ever broadcast.
They're jamming out on the field. His teammates are waiting for him. The ball hit the foul pole, and the Red Sox have sent the World Series into Game 7 with a dramatic 7-6 victory. What a game. This is one of the greatest World Series games of all time.
This is Eileen
Aaron's 715th home run, the one that broke Babe Ruth's record.
Al Downing ready to pitch. The count 1-1. Downing's delivery. Aaron swings, a long drive, deep left, going. It is gone! Hank Aaron has done it. He's done it. He is now the all-time home run leader. You know, I think sports announcers now, they are moving targets. Everybody can do the job better than a sports announcer. You were in Atlanta when Aaron.
Oh, I remember it very well.
I want you to put yourself up in that broadcast. But I want to hear how you call me and ask me how I was going to call. I want to hear you call the home run the way a writer would do it.
Oh, that's terrible, Kurt. I'm no glib.
Oh, come on, try it. Come on, give it
Well, set the scene. Here we are. Was it radio or television?
This is television. Downing's on the mound. Aaron's up there, and he's trying to break Babe Ruth's all-time home record. All right, let's go.
What's the count?
1-0.
1-0. Was that the
First pitch with the ball, low and away.
All right, the count is 1-0. There's Hank Aaron standing in at number 44. Can't help wondering what's wondering. Cut. Let me do it again. Wait a minute.
Right.
Here we go. Ready? All right, there he is. Count 1-0. Downing on the mound. Looks in, gets the sign. Kicks. I've always loved that. Kicks, throws. Oh, there it goes. It's heading out towards the left field fence. Long drive. Maybe out of here. It is out of here. A king, a new king, the new king. Home run champion of the world.
Not bad, the new king. As for the rest of it, keep writing, George. Hey, how about, let's fish a little bit.
How about that? Good. Let's do that. We can do that together. Is there one fishing trip that comes particularly to mind, Kurt?
Yes, I think it would have to be Argentina, 1963. A fellow named Joe Brooks, the late Joe Brooks, was probably our outstanding fly fishing man in this country, author. He and I went down and fished against 2 Argentinians. They came back and put it on Wide World of Sports, and it was so well received, they decided to make an outdoor show called The American Sportsman. That trip spawned the American Sportsman program.
For 17 years, Curt Gowdy has hosted The American Sportsman. From Asia to Africa, South America to Australia, Curt travels in search of extraordinary outdoor adventure. His companions are the world's most famous celebrities, actors, politicians, and athletes who share Curt's profound love of natural beauty and the wonders of the wild.
I suppose in all those years of American Sportsman, there must have been some memorable moments, to put it mildly.
The most fun I've had on the show and the most enjoyment I've had were 2 men named Bing Crosby and Phil Harris.
He can really put out those dinks.
Oh, he's clever. Very clever.
Oh, yeah.
But I can see why you men didn't wear the waiters. You gave me the dirty job.
No, we were planning the attack, Kurt. Say, tell me.
The late Bing Crosby was a private man, sort of a shy man, highly intelligent, and a man who truly loved the outdoors. I did 5 shows with Bing, and I really got to know him. I'll never forget one day, we were driving down the highway from Sacramento. He was taking me to the airport, and he turned the car radio on. And here was, when I was a boy, the most famous voice in the world. And they started to play Raindrops Are Falling on My Head, and he started to go boom, 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 boom. And then he just started to sing for about a half hour right down that highway. And suddenly they went into a commercial, he turned it on. I said, "You really like to sing, don't you, Bing?" And he said, "I love it." And I guess that's the way I feel about the outdoor. I never will forget that drive down the coast with Bing Crosby. I think I got a little bounce here, George. Wait a minute. Yep, got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Small.
That's the biggest thing I ever saw. What is it?
It's a little bonita, looks like.
Oh, come on. It's a tuna.
Yeah.
What a catch. Look at that thing.
Look at that.
Don't tell anybody, Kurt. I'll say it was at least
Don't
8
tell
feet
anyone.
long. Well, that's a pretty fish. Wonderful.
Yeah, they're great. Whoa.
Well, you still got him. Well, now I know you for the great fisherman that you are.
This is my all-time catch. Yeah, we'll release him here.
Oh, yeah. Is he
There he
gonna
goes.
survive?
Oh, yeah, he's all right. He's fine. They're very strong, those bonita.
You started off in basketball, didn't you, Kurt? That's quite a good one, too.
Well, basketball was my whole life when I was a youngster. Played in a great team at Cheyenne High School. Then went to Wyoming. We had championship teams there. I played with, I think, one of the best players ever, Kenny Sailors. So basketball has meant a lot to me in my career. I don't do it much anymore, but I do devote my time to it now as president of the Basketball Hall of Fame.
And some of the highlights of basketball broadcasting?
Well, of course, I've seen two dynasties that probably will never be duplicated again. The UCLA dynasty, I did all their NCAA championship games under John Wooden, except the first one. Wooden won his first national title, I think, at the age of 55. And he won with a little team, didn't have a big man on it. Then he came up with Alcindor, who now is known as Jabbar. And, of course, that team is unbeatable. Followed by a club of Wicks and Curtis Rowe and those players. Again, without a big man. Then along came Bill Walton. He had the near-perfect game in a college basketball championship. UCLA, Memphis State tied at the half of this NCAA championship game, but Bill Walton's a real story here. Leading scorer, 22 points. Meyer shot outside. Walton up, tips it in. Johnny Wooden watches. Here's a low pass inside. Walton spins and hits it. Memphis State now has to come back as UCLA is starting to run away. The shot is blocked off the hands of Larry Keenan. Walton is down in the key. He has been injured. Time is called. What a game he's played. Almost perfect. One of the greatest performances in the history of NCAA competition. 44 points. He has hit, and get this, 21 out of 22 shots. And listen to the crowd now.
Steven Spielberg. He directed Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And now he has directed his most imaginative and exciting film, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. In his adventure on Earth,
Kurt, I don't know why those people are fishing, man. After all, you pulled the biggest thing in this.
Oh, yeah, I took the trophy out.
10 tons.
Yeah.
Kurt, we haven't talked about football. You must have done just every bowl game there ever was.
I always happened to be with a network, that had the rights to a bowl game. I've done the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl. I did 8 Orange Bowls. Then I left the Orange Bowl and went to the Rose Bowl. I did 12 Rose Bowls in a row, plus the East-West game, the Senior Bowl, all those games.
The greatest of them all that you remember?
I remember the Stanford team with Jim Plunkett at quarterback. He won the Heisman Trophy that year. Woody Hayes is not happy. He brought his Ohio State in here as a 2-touchdown favorite. But the underdog Stanford team has given Ohio State all they can handle. Plunkett handing to Jackie Brown. Brown heading for the goal line. Slices in for a touchdown. And Stanford has taken the lead. Plunkett has picked apart this famous Buckeye defense. Throws. Randy Vataha. Touchdown. And the final score in a big upset. Stanford 27, Ohio State 17.
And any one particular play that you keep running back through your head over and over again like a movie?
O.J. Simpson in a 65, 70-yard run. He broke over his left tackle, cut back, and ran for the touchdown. And, of course, he was right at the height then, completing his college career. Everybody had heard so much about him. When he made that run and I saw him dance away and just outstrip everybody, I knew I was looking at one of the greatest backs of all time, and I just knew that he would be one of the great backs in pro football. He had everything.
What was it like broadcasting those AFL games in the early days? I mean, you were the second league then, weren't you?
I'll never forget the first Super Bowl game ever played. It was a curiosity. Could the AFL play even with the NFL? It was in Los Angeles. That was an historic game, George, the first Super Bowl, but two networks covered the same game, CBS and NBC. And the battle between the two networks got as big as the game. Crispin and I did it, and I think Gifford, Whitaker, and Ray Scott for CBS. And we were beaten in the ratings, but not by a lot. And I'll never forget, that'll be the last time that two networks ever cover a major game.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, George, in that game, it was the Packers were heavily favored, but they were leading by only 14-10 at halftime.
Adderley covering Taylor. Peter on Burford. A big rush on, and it is intercepted with a rush on. That's Willie Wood who picks it off. He may go. Willie Wood is down on the 4. Nails wide left. It's to Pitts. Pitts is over for a score. Green Bay strikes quickly here in the third quarter. And they take a 20-10 lead. Fake to Taylor. Starr shoots it, and it's a touchdown to Max McGee.
However, the most memorable event, George, I've ever done was one of the duller games. And that was Super Bowl III, when the Jets upset the Colts in Miami, because I think that is the single most important financial game ever played in America. In the public's mind, that brought the American Football League even with the National Football League. 3rd and 4, Colts in the Jets' 4-yard line. Burrell like to put his team on the scoreboard first. Fires in the end zone. Deflected. Intercepted by Randy Beverly, and the Jets stop the Colts threat. No score early second quarter. Snell to the left again. He's over. Culminating an 80-yard Jet drive, and the Jets take the lead 6-0. Colts threatening, still trailing 7-0. More. Johnny Sample picks it off, and again the Jets have stopped the Colts. The AFL has proven itself to America. Joe Namath and the New York Jets have defeated the Baltimore Colts 16-7 in an amazing upset.
Some of the great games you've seen. What about your own performance? Can you rank those?
I never ever really went home satisfied, and many times I'd get so mad at myself. I believe a broadcaster, though, is really dependent on the game on the field. If you get great games, exciting, the public loves them. If it's a one-sided game, no matter how good a broadcast you did, it was a lousy telecast. That's the way they feel. I've always thought we're there because of what's on the field, and that's the only reason to cover it.
What would you like to be remembered for, Curt?
If they said, wanted to remember something about Curt Gowdy as a sports broadcaster, I'd like someone somewhere, sometime to say he was a good professional.
The 1970 Super Bowl, Kansas City against Minnesota.
The reverse, and Pitts is forced out of bounds right there in front of the Chiefs bench. The Chiefs are in control now. Dawson has this club moving. I formation. Dawson to Taylor. Breaks the tackle. He could go. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. Touchdown, Kansas City.
The 1971 World Series, Pittsburgh against Baltimore.
Game. Cuellar delivers to Clemente. There's a long center. That one is going. It is gone. A home run. And the Pirates take the lead 1-0. And what a series for Clemente. He's now had at least one hit in every game of this series.
The 1970 NCAA Basketball Championship, Jacksonville against UCLA.
Here in the second half. Wicks to Curtis Rowe. Rowe lays it up for another UCLA score. And Jacksonville is now finished. Loose ball. Rex Morgan up with it. But UCLA has won another NCAA crown.
And the play that became known as the Immaculate Reception.
Bradshaw scrambling, fourth and very long. Bradshaw looking, fires deep to Frenchie Fuqua, deflected by